Joining me now, Richard Schoenstein, a New York-based attorney and civil litigator, represented a lot of high-profile and other clients. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Good to be here.
All right. So how strong a case does Don Lemon have?
Well, it's hard to see. First of all, let me just say I'm flabbergasted they didn't have a written contract. I mean, that to me is amazing that he would agree to go on X and make that his new home. Like, you have a contract here, right?
I do. It's not a great contract. But
whatever, but it's
I'm joking.
But it's in writing is the point.
Yes.
And the lack of a writing really affects this lawsuit, right? Because Don Lemon basically has three different categories of claims. He has breach of contract, he has fraud claims, and he has misappropriation of likeness. Those are the three categories. The breach of contract claims are made much harder because none of it's in writing. He can still prove it. You can have a contract that's not in writing, but he's got to prove what the terms of that contract were and that there was a breach. Much harder.
So on that one, when, for example, Musk in the interview says you're on the X platform, there's some ambiguity there, right? Initially, you could say, well, he's admitting that they have a deal, except you can be on the X platform without having a deal.
Well, he does seem to admit, and by the way, that raises the question of, isn't everyone on the X platform have some sort of contract with X? Isn't there some sort of implicit contract to being there? But put that aside, now he has fraud claims. One of the reasons you get a written contract is to preclude fraud claims, because you write in the contract what all of the representations are, and then the other guy can't say, you told me this, you told me that, you promised me this, because you have it in writing. So that hurts Musk. That opens up Lemon's ability to allege things. And then there's the misappropriation of image claim, which isn't really affected by the lack.
But here's the thing that, so X, this is number 5, they announced in January of 2024, we're delighted to announce a new content partnership with Don Lemon for his new project, The Don Lemon Show. The award-winning TV journalist will share his unique and honest voice in 30-minute episodes 3 times a week covering politics, culture, sports, and entertainment. The show will run exclusively first on X. Welcome, Don.
Yep, that's good evidence of a contract because it says the word partnership, and they announced it. And I think, if I'm right, the allegation is that when they canceled it, they said the contract is canceled, I believe, in the communication. So there probably are some acknowledgments that there was some kind of deal here. It's just harder to sort out when you don't have it in writing.
And one more. This is Don Lemon actually talking about interviewing Musk. This is number 7.
I thought the first person to interview, no-brainer, Elon Musk, the man who calls himself a free speech absolutist. I asked him to do it. He willingly agreed to the interview. Throughout our conversation, I kept reiterating to him that although it was tense at times, I thought it was good for people to see and hear our exchange and that they would learn from our conversation, learn more about him, learn more about me. But apparently, free speech absolutism doesn't apply when it comes to questions about him from people like me.
Now, Lemon's argument is not just that he's owed the money, but that he actually put in his own money.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, he says hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is number 3, to form his own media company, collaborating with his agents on what it would look like, seeking business proposals, entering into a production deal with a content studio, hiring a production staff, etc. Is that the easiest part for him to probably get back?
That is. If they had a partnership, which we think is pretty established, and he invested money towards that endeavor and then Musk canceled it, that seems like the easiest money to get. And or if he was guaranteed, he says he was guaranteed $1.5 million and obviously wasn't paid that. That might be. But he seems to be seeking much more. He wants reputational damages. He wants punitive damages. And I question whether his reputation has really been hurt by any of this. I mean, arguably, his reputation was not on the upswing before this all happened.
Well, you could argue also that it benefited him to do a tough interview with Elon Musk.
And you could argue that the lawsuit is keeping both of their names in the press, and that's benefiting both of them.
So you think this thing settles?
It should settle. It's hard to say.
In a usual world, with typical clients, it would settle. I'm not so sure this one will.
Well, Musk seems to be hard-nosed about this kind of thing, except that he was in litigation about buying Twitter. What happened to that lawsuit?
Yeah.
Right?
True. Richard Schoenstein, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.